name's DeNisa Brown, and this is Max. He's about 7 years old, and we use him for search and rescue. He is trained to find people. You remember the comics Peanuts and the little character Pigpen? You remember how it always had that cloud follow him? Well, actually all of us have that. We just don't see it, but he can. And what that's called is raft. And what raft is like your skin cells and your sweat and any like cologne or soap or anything you have, and it's individual to all of us. So that's what he will pick up. And like I could take your shirt or your shoes or your toothbrush and give it to him and tell him to go find you, and he would. It's easier for him to do this because in the dog's olfactory, humans have like 5 million receptors. A fox terrier has like 150. A German shepherd has like 200 million. He has 300 million. So whereas a human has 5 million, he has 300 million. And of all the dogs for searching, he is the best. With him, we could get, a judge could actually give us a search warrant. If with his papers, his AKC papers and our training records, it's legal for a judge to give a warrant. Like if he identified that a suspect was in a house, the judge could actually sign the warrant and give it to him based on all of that. One reason that they're so good at it is one reason because of their nose, because of that olfactory. But these ears also, when their head is down, it's like picking up that scent, that raft that you're dropping as you go, it picks it up. And then all the skin under here, that like picks up any stray particles that may be there. And then also, as you may know, bloodhounds slobber a lot. And they actually use that too to help find, because the moisture helps intensify the smell. I mean, think about it, when you smell something, you know, if it's wet, it smells more. Well, that helps with that too. There's 2 different kinds. There's tracking and there's trailing. Tracking is where a dog will go like almost step for step. Where trailing is where they go, it's freer. And that's what he does. He goes on the edge of the scent. And so he's not going to go step for step for you. You know, you may walk down the block and he may walk down the alley because he's at the edge of the scent. And when he loses the scent, then he'll come back to it. So that's the way he works. You know, recently in the news there was those guys that broke out of prison up in from the Clinton unit up in New York, and they were saying that they used pepper to help, you know, deter the drugs. And so I've always heard that that didn't work. And so what I did is I went and I started researching it. And it's not going to work. All that's going to do is add to the scent that's what the dog has. I mean, the theory is that if you have pepper down, then when the dog smells it in, you know how it is when you get pepper in your nose. Well, now remember, he's not working on your trail. He's working off of it. So he's not going to get that nose full of pepper. It's just going to help identify that person. And remember the show Mythbusters? They actually did 2 programs on trying to fool a bloodhound. One was like in 2007 and one was in 2010. And they did everything to try and fool them. You know, they broke out of prison, they changed their clothes, they took showers, they went through water, they did all of this stuff, and they never could fool them. So it's pretty hard to fool one. The biggest challenge, I think, for a dog is the handler. Because if the dog misses, it's usually not the dog's fault, it's the handler's. I know on the very first search we went on, it was over in New Mexico, and there was a lady with Alzheimer's that had wandered off. And so we go, and first of all, we had a challenge finding the scent, because it was like an 80-year-old lady who was a diabetic, a rather large lady, and she lived with her husband and her son. And I guess when she wound up missing, I guess the house was not in the best shape, and so Adult Protective Services went in. So the people went in and they washed everything she had. They washed all of her clothes. And so when it was like, what, 3 days later when I finally got there, and so I was having trouble trying to find something. I finally found a pillowcase that they hadn't washed. But the problem was the husband had slept on it too. And so what I had to do was I had to get the pillowcase and let him smell it, and then let him smell the husband and the son. So I was telling him, find whatever's left. We don't want these 2, find whatever's left. And we did. We searched all over town, and everywhere we would go, the people would go, oh, I saw her. I saw her here like 2 days ago. But we didn't know she was lost then. And so we finally had a sighting of her and that morning. And so we went to where that sighting was. It was like downtown. And so we trailed her all the way back to the house. And we get back to the house. Well, by that time, it's all around town. This was in Portales, New Mexico. It was all around town that, you know, we were out searching. And so there was tons of people there. And so we go to the house, and we go flying around it. And there was this lady standing there, and she had this donut. And he is very, very food motivated. He absolutely loves food. And he went blowing by that donut, didn't even pay attention, and he went to the trailer next door, and he's looking under it. He looks at me and he wags. Well, as we go flying around the house, I saw a cat go running across the yard. And I thought, that cat went under the trailer. And I thought, all these people are here, oh my gosh. And so he's looking, and he's looking at me, and he's looking into the trailer, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, okay, come on, get back to work, you know. And I mean, I just kind of looked and went back to work. Well, we wound up calling the search off, and they found her that night under the trailer. And so he found her, I didn't. So, you know, it was error, it was handler error. And